What's the most dangerous thing a coworker ever did to you? My manager at the bakery deliberately gave me gluten when she knew I had a gluten allergy because she thought food allergies were made-up millennial nonsense. I ended up in the ER with my intestines literally tearing themselves apart. I've had a gluten allergy since I was diagnosed at 16, the kind where even trace amounts of gluten trigger an autoimmune response that damages your intestinal lining, the kind that can cause internal bleeding, malnutrition, and long-term organ damage if you're not careful. When I got hired at Golden Cake Bakery, I was upfront about my condition, brought medical documentation, explained cross-contamination protocols, even offered to bring my own lunch every day. The owner, Mrs. Grace, was understanding. She set up a separate prep area for me and made sure I had gluten-free options during staff meals. Then Mrs. Grace retired and her daughter Rebecca took over. Rebecca was one of those people who thought food sensitivities were psychological. She'd roll her eyes when customers asked about ingredients and make snide comments about picky eaters and food fads. During my first week under her management, she watched me carefully wash my hands after handling regular flour. You know, that's not actually necessary, she said with that fake sweet smile. Gluten intolerance is mostly in people's heads. I explained that gluten allergy isn't an intolerance. It's an autoimmune disease. My body attacks itself when exposed to gluten proteins. She just laughed. Sure it does. I should have quit then. For months, she'd make little comments. When I'd bring my own lunch, must be nice to be so special. When customers asked about gluten-free options, some people will believe anything these days, but the pay was good and I needed the job. Last month, we were catering a corporate event. I was working the early shift prepping sandwiches for the lunch rush. Rebecca came in around 10 a.m. with coffee and a box of donuts for the staff. I got you something special, she said, handing me a chocolate glazed donut from that new gluten-free place downtown. I was touched. Maybe she was finally taking my condition seriously. I ate half of it before the familiar burning started. At first, I thought maybe there'd been cross-contamination at the gluten-free bakery. It happens sometimes. But then Rebecca started smirking. How's that donut tasting? She asked with this twisted little grin. The cramping hit me like a freight train. Sharp, stabbing pains that doubled me over. What did you give me? I gasped. Just a regular donut, she said, crossing her arms. Let's see how sick you really get. I tried to make it to the bathroom, but collapsed in the kitchen. The pain was unbearable, like someone was shredding my insides with broken glass. My coworker Jake found me on the floor vomiting blood. Call 911, I whispered. Rebecca blocked his path to the phone. She's being dramatic. Give her some Pepto and she'll be fine. But Jake pushed past her and made the call anyway. The paramedics arrived to find me convulsing on the dirty kitchen floor, blood coming from both ends. In the ambulance, one of them asked what I'd eaten. When I told them about the donut, the paramedic's expression darkened. Ma'am, do you understand what gluten does to someone with severe gluten allergy? I spent 4 days in the hospital. The gluten had triggered such an intense autoimmune response that my intestinal lining was sloughing off. Internal bleeding, severe dehydration, malnutrition from my body being unable to absorb nutrients. The doctor said if I'd waited another hour before getting treatment, I could have gone into septic shock. My parents were livid. They contacted a lawyer before I was even discharged. The security cameras showed everything. Rebecca deliberately choosing a regular donut. Her smug expression when I started getting sick. Her trying to prevent Jake from calling for help. She was arrested for assault and reckless endangerment. The bakery fired her immediately and settled our lawsuit within weeks, enough to cover my medical bills and lost wages, plus damages for the permanent intestinal scarring. But here's the thing that still haunts me. She genuinely believed she was proving a point. Even when the cops were arresting her, she kept insisting that real allergies don't cause that kind of reaction. She literally watched me bleeding on the floor and thought I was faking it for attention. I can't work in food service anymore. The anxiety is too much, and my digestive system will never fully recover from the damage. All because one person decided my medical condition was a lie worth testing.